Morning, everyone. I just wanted to reach out to you, just give you some more information about Illuminate and some of the reports that you can generate. I know most of you are settled in, you've worked with your leadership teams, and as we continue this journey, using the guide and then also making sure that your teams are collaborating using data. It's important to have reports that can inform about their instruction. And the report today is just really about the kids that are sitting in front of them today, their performance on the SBAC. I know earlier in a video I shared with you about the preliminary roster reports, and now we are going to just talk about the roster reports because everything's been rolled over and it isn't necessarily preliminary, and I can show you just some of the tools. So when you get into your dashboard on Illuminate, you can just click reports, or you can go over to reports however you want. So just click reports, and you can look at the icons like this, or you can just go to the previous version if you want. It's up to you. The report that I worked with you last time was right here. It was the preliminary Smarter Balance Assessment Student Roster Report. But this is the one that we're going to be focusing on today. Now, if for whatever reason you don't see it in your tiles, you can go ahead and just type in Smarter Balanced, just like this, and search, and then it'll come up. You'll see all the Smarter Balance, and it's right here, Smarter Balance, and then you can see the little picture. Now, you can also restore it to the previous version of Illuminate, and then you can see it as a list. Some people like a list as well. So we're going to go ahead and click on Smarter Balance Assessment, the Student Roster Report, and just talk about a couple of the features that you might want to be working with. And of course, it's moving slow today. All right, so in mine, I have the district, but you pick a school. I'm going to go ahead and pick my former school. I'm going to go ahead and pick Earhart. And so one of the things at elementary, you can disaggregate this by teacher, but at secondary, you can disaggregate the data, or you can filter the data by the teacher, the period, or the time block. So I just wanted to share with you right here. You can see down here. And if I was an 8th grade teacher and I wanted to know how my students did, maybe for the last 2 years, I could do that, that are sitting in my seats. So I have an 8th grade teacher. I want to know, how did the students that are sitting in my seats today do the past 2 years? So looking at the control panel, just make sure it's on the current date, because that's the roster date of the students sitting in your seats. And then you're going to go ahead and pick a teacher. So I'll pick a teacher that I know. And then we will go ahead and move it down here. So the test year was last year, so we're going to do that. But we also want to know, include a previous year's results. So we'd say yes. And then it would be the 7th grade summative final, because this teacher taught 8th grade. And then you would view report. And it's just going to think for a second, and then the report comes up, and then you can have the roster of students. Now, one of the features that I want to tell you about, one, you can see the 2 years. So 2019 and 2000, you can see this is how much growth they made that year, or not growth, I'm sorry. This is their distance from standard, and you can see how they scored and then what their distance from standard in 2019. And then in 2018, don't confuse that with growth, just this is how they scored as it relates to distance from standard, and in 2019, and then in 2018, this is what they scored in their distance from standard. Now you can go ahead, if you click on scale score, you can filter this, and you can hit, filter up or down, and then you can filter this as lowest to highest, or you can click it and you can filter from highest to lowest, and you can see that. So that's one way to do that, and this is all the students in this particular person's class. But let's say you wanted to go one step further. So we'll go ahead and reset the filters. And then right here, of course, it resets everything. So I'll go right back to Earhart Middle School, and we'll look at the same teacher, and then but we want to group the students by section. So you can group the students by section, which is probably a good way, because then you're going to get their actual section by period. Now, sometimes the report, when it comes up, it doesn't put the periods in order. I wish I knew why, but it doesn't. So you could go ahead and look at a previous year's result as well. Make sure that if it's an 8th grade teacher, you're looking at 7th grade scores. If it's a 7th grade teacher, you're looking at 6th grade scores, because it's how they did the past 2 years. And then we view in browser. It'll take just a second, and then you have your scores. So if you look at this, you'll see it's done by period. You can see this, it started with period 3 for whatever reason, but it is broke down by period. So period 3, and then you can look at the next page or download it as a PDF, and this continues with period 3. But then you'll see that it's broke down by then period 4, and so forth. So I don't know why it doesn't go in order. Remember that you have the sorting features. If you click here, in each of these areas, you can sort by grade. And in this case, you wouldn't need to do that, but if you're doing a comprehensive one. So I wanted to share that with you today. And in our next video, I'll make sure that we share with you the pivot table report. And so reach out to me if you have any questions. The Ray department, made this information available to me. Melanie Maxwell is a wealth of information. Dan Sosa as well. So reach out to them if you have questions as well, and we'll continue this journey together and build on our capacity of using data and knowing a little bit more about our kids. So have a great day. Take care.